Hello everyone, my name is Liz and I am the soap artist here at Soap and Smiles. And today in this video, I am going to teach you how to make a chocolate covered strawberries cupcake soap. Check it out. If you're interested in learning how to make this, come follow me and watch my tutorial. So I will be making today chocolate covered strawberry cupcake soaps. I love to make cupcake soaps because they're awesome for party favors, birthdays, or even, you know, for gifting. I just love them. The possibilities are endless in terms of design. So this is the supplies that you're going to need for this particular soap. I have here, I believe, 1 pound of goat's milk soap. This is melt and pour soap. I do make also artisan soap, but for this project I am going to do melt and pour. We're going to need the mold. The molds I'm going to be using are these cupcake molds. You could get these on Amazon, so I'm going to be using that. I'm also going to be using the strawberry mold, which I also believe I got on Amazon. So these and the strawberries come out so realistic, they're amazing. We're going to need the color I am going to use from Nuture soap, Candy Apple. We need obviously spatula. We need the fragrance. As you can see, I'm running very low on the chocolate covered strawberries. For this amount of soap, it's perfectly fine. And obviously we're gonna need some pictures. I do have here some melted glycerin soap as well. And we're gonna need that to make the strawberries. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, I already sanitized my station. I'm gonna take my goat's milk soap. I am going to chop it up. And the goal is to chop it up as small as possible so that when you melt it, let me remove this glove because it's going to be very hard for me to take this off. So when you melt it, you know, you're not burning the soap. So I like to chop my soap in very, very small blocks. Okay, so now that I have the plastic removed from the soap, now let's put on my glove again. Okay, so here we go. So the way I chop this up, I go half. And for those of you who do not know me, and this is the first time on your first time on my channel, I do have a slightly torn rotator cuff and a frozen shoulder. So right now I'm not in pain, but I'm trying to work on it as slow as possible so that I don't accidentally strike one of those ouch pains all of a sudden. So as you can see, I'm chopping off, trying to make it as small as possible. Put it into my container. Okay, so now I'm gonna melt this in 30-second bursts, okay? And then I will come back when it's all melted. Okay, now that my soap is all melted, I am going to mix it. Just make sure that there is no blocks in the soap right there, so everything seems to be nice and melted. I am going to add now my color. So what I do is I take a glass or any container really, and I'm gonna add my mica. And look how beautiful that is. That's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous red right there. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of that. Because I'm also going to need it for the strawberries, so let's go ahead and add that much mica. And then the way I mix the mica is I add 99% isopropyl rubbing alcohol right there. Mix it in. Now you're going to notice the difference between the white melt and pour and the clear melt and pour. The white melt and pour soap, when you add color, the color is more of a pastel color. The clear is more of a solid real color, like it will be true to this color, and you will see as I show you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead now and I'm gonna add some of this right here. Okay, so as you can see, it's like a very, very dull pink. Let me add a little bit more color. It's a little too light for my liking. Okay. Okay. All right, this is much better, much better. So look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so now I'm gonna add my fragrance and add this amazing fragrance. Okay, so I usually, for this amount of soap, I add 2 pipette full of the fragrance, and I leave some for the top and for the strawberries. Okay. So now I'm gonna mix that in. Smells amazing, amazing. Okay, beautiful. So now I'm gonna set this to the side. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab my cupcake mold. I'm gonna go ahead and pour my soap. Add spray the alcohol on the top to get rid of all those air bubbles. Perfect, just like that. Now, next step is making the strawberries. So for the strawberries, I'm gonna use clear soap, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and melt this down. Clear soap has been melted as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add just a little bit of fragrance. I don't want it to discolor, so I am gonna add a bit just so it could have a little bit of fragrance. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this color to this soap right here. Okay, mix it in. And like I said, as you can see, the difference between the clear soap. So the clear soap is truly, is the true color. So if you want a soap true to color, you use the clear glycerin soap. Just gonna pour these in here. I'm gonna make 6 of these. Okay, I'm gonna spray a little bit of alcohol. And now we wait till it sets, and I'll bring you back to show you how I do the frosting. So now it's time to do the frosting. For the frosting, it's very easy. It's just a couple of ingredients, which I will list in the description box below. So I am doubling up the recipe. So I'm adding 3 cups of baking soda. I am adding 1 cup of bubble up or cocoa betaine. And then I am going to add a tiny bit, 1/4 teaspoon of SLSA. I did add a little bit of fragrance, the remaining fragrance, which was probably like 1/4 teaspoon. I mixed that all together in my mixer. And then I stop in between just to make sure that the everything is incorporated. Sometimes the baking soda loves to stick to the bottom of the bowl, so you kind of have to like move it around and then you start mixing again. As you can see, it was a little bit on the dry side, so I added just a little bit more, probably like another teaspoon of that bubble up. And then I start mixing again. And then I continue mixing until I get to the consistency that I want, kind of like a whipped cream effect. So as you can see right there, it's still not quite there. I still use my spatula to mix it up to make sure that there's no dry spots on the bottom. So this whole process probably takes about 5 to 10 minutes. And then finally I go ahead and then I put my bowl right on there again and do one final mix. Now that I'm happy with my frosting, I'm going to go ahead now and put it into my piping bag. So now I go ahead and place the frosting onto the press and seal. Now you don't have to use press and seal. You can put the frosting directly into the piping bag. I just prefer, for me it's less messy if I just go ahead and put it onto the press and seal bag, and then this way I seal it up and then place it into my piping bag. So I go ahead, I attach it together, I tie the bottom end, and then I take my tip, and then I take my bag, cut off the top, and then place my piping tip into the bag and add the frosting. I think it's a much neater way to do it, especially if you're doing multiple colors. It's so much easier. Now I'm ready to frost my cupcakes. So I go ahead, take my cupcakes, and then I'm going to take clear melt and pour so that I can basically attach the frosting to the cupcake. So the clear melt and pour, you melt it up and it acts as a seal so that the frosting attaches to the bottom of your soap, of your cupcake soap. And there you see the beautiful strawberries. They look so realistic. I love it. I love that mold. And I will put links on the down on the description box below of all the molds that I use. Here you see I add probably like a teaspoon of the melt and pour, and then I just pipe away. And that frosting is so amazing. It doesn't glop up. It's very firm. And I just love the texture. It's amazing. And now we're on to the final step, which is adding the chocolate glaze on the top. So I am going to take my brown mica. This one is from Nuture soap, Lustrous brown. I'm going to add it to my mix or to my clear soap, and it looks so amazing. It really looks like melted chocolate. So amazing. So I just add it onto the top of the cupcake and onto the strawberry to give it that realistic effect of the chocolate covered strawberries. And basically what you want to do is, after these are all said and done, you want to, you don't shrink wrap them or don't handle them, don't ship them until 3 days later. You want to make sure that the frosting is not going to crack, and it's basically going to be nice and firm on the 3rd day. So basically that is it. You spray a little bit of rubbing alcohol and then you are all set. And look at that beautiful chocolate covered strawberry cupcake soap with that bubble frosting. It's amazing, guys. Very short, easy recipe to make. I hope you love it. Thank you for watching my video, and please subscribe to my channel.